How you doing? My name is Chris Brown,
My name is Vanessa Russell.
and this is our midterm project film review. Right now, we're going to review Category 3 film, Lady Sings the Blues, released in 1972, directed by Sidney J. Foyer. Some of the characters you have in this film, you have Diana Ross playing Billie Holiday. You have Billy D. Williams playing Louis McKay. You have Richard Pryor playing the Piano Man. James Callahan playing Reg Hanley. Paul Hampton playing Harry Hanley. Sid Milton as Jerry, who is the club owner, which we're going to talk about a little bit later when we talk about, summarizing the film, give our review. You got Virginia Capers and Sadie Fagan Holiday as Billy's mother. Then you have Yoni Ferry as, Yvonne. Those are some of the main characters. But bro, tell them about the movie.
So, the most shocking part to me was the beginning of the movie, which actually stuck out to me the most because it was like a flashback of the beginning of the movie was a flashback of her being in jail, but it also led into the actual movie of what was actually going on. So, the beginning of the movie, it talked about her mom not being there, really being there for her, but her mom telling her that she has to be a cleaner lady for someone so that she can find a house and place to stay.
Yeah.
So she took that into consideration, and she made herself known. Like she was living with her aunt at 1st, and then her aunt told her basically to have the house clean. Then after that, when she got done, finished cleaning the house, the aunt told her like basically she gotta leave, but she got a mail from her mom. So it was always shocking to her getting mail from her mom because she felt as though her mom didn't really care about her. Yeah, but towards the end of the movie, not towards the end, but towards the middle of the movie, she understood her role, but she felt as though that she was bigger than being the cleaning lady, so she tried to go out and find a different job, and her different job that she tried to do was to be either a bar dancer or a bar singer. So she noticed a sign in a doorway that said dancers wanted, and she took that on because she was so tempted to leave the job that she wanted, and which was bad in her eyes because she basically was like a prostitute, but half prostitute, half cleaning lady, and she couldn't go for it anymore. So she took that chance of going to the bar and trying out to be the dancer, and she then cut out for the dance situation. So the pianist told the bar host that she can sing, and the bar host didn't believe it, but once she started singing, it shocked the bar host. And Eleanor, that was her name before, and then once after she shocked the bar host, she was named as
Billie Holiday.
Billie Holiday. And after shocking the host, he had put her on to a lot of people. That's when she had met the love of her life, and his name was
Louis McKay.
Louis. And he was the first one to put money in her pocket to understand like she's bigger than what other people said she was, and most stereotypes are saying that only women can clean houses during this time.
Especially back then, like the women respect wasn't as high as it is now. Especially, black, white women, black women as well. Though it was real bad for them. The respect wasn't high. They weren't treated as humans. It's crazy to say, but that's really what I got from the film.
Yeah, and also he showed her that it's a different way, and he put her on to different folks. So one other rule that was major to her is that she had got the chance to travel across the world, and she would just stand in one place, and she didn't understand what traveling was. But once she got that opportunity, she took and ran with it, and she traveled with a band, and she understood what it took it took time and effort to be a part of that band, and she did what she had to do. But during that time, it was a bad era for her because they was addicted to like some heroin and stuff like that, and they had took her off the path. And then her love of her life, which is
Louis McKay.
Louis McCain, he told her like this isn't for you, and she thought that he was saying basically like that the traveling and stuff wasn't for her, but her not knowing that she was getting addicted to the heroin was messing her up. And during that time, heroin was a big thing.
Yeah.
It took people's lives. It had people addicted where they couldn't get off of it. And she was actually one of the victims that took part of that. But towards the end of the film, she had got arrested because she was using illegal drugs during the time of her traveling, which the group didn't know. Someone did know, like the doctor knew that what was going on, but he couldn't say anything because he was just trying to make sure that she had the life that she wanted and that she was choosing. But her husband at the time, because it was her boyfriend, but she was choosing it can be called her husband, and her mom and all the rest of her family members were telling her like that's not the right way, but she chose that because that's what she was told. Like she gonna keep doing what she wanted to do. She wanted to accomplish what she wanted, and that was her way of living, like getting paid and stuff. Also, upon the road, she noticed lynchings, and she got into interactions with the KKK. That shocked her a lot. They also got glass in her eye and stuff like that, so she was shocked. It was a real big shocking situation.
Let me ask you this: what was your favorite scene in the movie?
My favorite scene in the movie was actually like the beginning, like I said, because it was just like shocking to see. Like it was like it was eye catching that she was getting locked up. So you just like, oh, why she get locked up? What was the whole situation? Why she doing that? But once the movie started going, it was like, oh, it all coming along. Everything's coming along. So that was my favorite part of the movie. My favorite quote from the book was it said that the lady sing the blues is that accomplishes nothing else that present audience with some of the most romantic scenes thus far in a Black history film.
How you feel about that?
What I feel about that, it was romantic, and it also was like a different romantic way that most people don't have today, and it was like eye catching, and I definitely took like a big eye catching role of that because it was a little tricky going on situation because it was a little physical altercation and stuff between her and her boyfriend, but he also had her understand that it's like more than love for him. Like he really loved her and he didn't want to see her get hurt, and everything he did was for her. So what I can relate that to nowadays is like the situation with Whitney Houston, when she was going through all the situations with her fiance and her getting beat and stuff. Like nowadays, like you don't see that situation with God, but it's under the cover. Most people don't understand what relationships get into, how deep they get into due to physical altercations, but most people just show the good part of relationships and stuff, but it's also bad situations.
Now, would you recommend it to one of your friends to watch, and why?
I would recommend it to all my friends to watch because it's a great movie, and it's shocking, and you get to see how life was back in that time, because most of us know how life was. Well, we had an idea of it, but once you actually watch the movie, it's like, oh wait, that really was like that.
I definitely agree with you. I feel like, we all think, especially in this generation, what we think life was back then, but watching these films that are loosely based on, somewhat of a true story, it just, makes you sit back and think, wow, like this is really going on. Like in the 70s, people really were addicted to heroin. Like, and this is before, the crack, cocaine epidemic, in the 80s and 90s. This is in the 70s, so this, people in our generation, they think 70s is black and white, but it wasn't. Some of our best stars came, from the 70s, and so, in this music business, for anybody who wants to get in it was a tricky grind back then, and it just shows you one of the paths that somebody tried to take, and how you can, easily fall off the ship. But yeah, I definitely will recommend this to one of my friends, all of our friends, to be honest. I feel as though we need to watch more films that, are back in the day, to give us somewhat of a perspective of what life was. But also, watching, old films to see how people were acting. Like, one thing I got away from this film is you could kind of see, you kind of had an idea of what was about to happen in each scene because, the tone of the music. Now it's the same way, but back then I feel like, watching the movie, the tones really emphasized, like you really understood it. And so now, when I go to watch movies now, I'm going to really pay attention and stuff like that. I'm definitely, recommending to some of my friends. I really like this film. Lady Sings in the Blues came out in 1972, but
And the ups and downs, and it was just crazy. You know what I mean? So
definitely
just
crazy.
take that time to actually watch it. You know what I mean? So you get to see how we felt about it, and you can tell us how you felt about it.
Yes, this was category 3. Category 4, right after this. Peace.